Good morning, everyone. Night or evening, or maybe at 3:47 a.m. exactly. You know who you are. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I have been posting all of my short films kind of in a chronological order. So I'm here again to regale to you what each film meant for me in my filmmaking process and how I got from freshman year to senior year. The Sweet Game of Revenge. There was a film festival called the 10-Day Film Challenge. It was a film festival challenge that had they wanted their own movie, but I guess you can make it yourself. They want to pick the character's name for you.
That's Alex Masterson. Memories never graduates.
I'm Casey Hatcher.
Parker Malone?
They tell you the kind of genre that you have to be in. They tell you the kind of special shot you have to use. They tell you kind of like up and down, like what to do, and then I guess go for it yourself. So me and my friends have been doing the 10-Day Film Challenge since sophomore year of high school. And it kind of just comes around in March all the time. And it's very stressful, very challenging. We only work on films really like when we're in high school. I was never the kid to go home and like write that many scripts myself back in those days. In senior year, I finally had an idea for what the senior film challenge was. And so the character's name was Parker Malone, and he had to come back from a hospital.
Recently out of the hospital because of his incident.
My genre was literally called sports and games. Now, if you're a filmmaker, I don't think that sports and games is really like your thing. I don't really think that there's many jocks doing film in high school. So me and my friends were kind of stumped. But I thought to myself, like, wait a minute. They didn't say anything about board games. It's sports and games. So what about that board game Sorry, where you like knock off like things? What if like someone played a game of Sorry so hard that people beat him up and sent him to the hospital? So he essentially comes back to school, and those bullies that beat him up want a rematch. And then like I wanted to do some really epic ass like sequence of like them playing Sorry. Oh my god, blue and red, like the cool color combination. Yeah, that was my idea. I had to pitch that. I had to write it with my friend Milo, and you know, over the next few days we shot it, edited it. We edited the film. We made our own music for it. Ultimately, as a senior filmmaker in high school, I just had so many years to like sharpen my skills and sharpen my cinematography. And I just like felt that it was very sentimental of me. I was grinding, but I was also realizing like, this is my last 10-day ever. And so let me just throw everything I got at the wall. And the way that movie came out, I wanted to also just like, I wanted to poke fun at what the 10-Day Film Challenge kind of was. There's the character played by my friend Jack Hake, where he explains like the moral of the movie and the exposition of the movie. It was just that kind of level of like, how obvious do we have to get to this part to then make a movie? So I kind of wanted to poke fun at that. And me and Milo joked that it was literally the best 10-Day Film Challenge movie. Like I made the movie hand selected for the 10-Day Film Challenge. And when I exported it and showed it to my family on March 15th, 2020, me and Milo were like, yo, this film, Milo, this is your magnum opus. That's what I've called that film, is like my magnum opus for a long time, only to be, you know, obviously overshadowed by the oncoming pandemic that was coming through. But overall, like that film was really great. You have to sometimes write, direct under a short time constraint, and that really paid off during college. So let's take you to what the title of the video is about. My first film in freshman year. I'm a little hazy, because it was 4 years ago, about what the exact assignment detailed in terms of like what did the professor want us to do. So I think me and Milo had some free will on what our first film was coming in the college. And keep in mind, we have just met 20 new film faces in here through Instagram and through the Zoom calls. We've met 20 new filmmakers to work with. It's been months since there's been any production of any kind, and we wanted to make a film that involved people in it. It kind of just deserved that kind of grand spectacle. So Milo cooked up a film about a Cuban revolutionary going through the jungles trying to find a rebel encampment, right? And I thought to myself, you're crazy, but let's co-direct this together and let me kind of channel your craziness. So we picked the film Forest in Queens, Forest Hill, Queens. Whoa. And we filmed there. Then we filmed in my house. And the most fun part was bringing on like a crew. Like we had a crew. And it was all the people that we had just met. And we wanted to just have a strong first impression about who we are as filmmakers. And so we had people doing makeup, we had people doing production design, people acting, people doing special camera shots. We showed them what a real set environment looks like, and each person there like was very thankful for like us, you know, locking the hell in and not making our pandemic driven film semester just us filming movies by ourselves in our back rooms being alone. We got together, of course maxed up and protected and safe, but we got together and we weren't afraid of that. And the movie as a whole, I mean, Milo more so wrote it and I helped edit all the themes together, but I'm very proud of Milo for that script. I'm very proud of what we did together, and honestly, like, it's beautiful that we can have a film that I look back on, you know, like 5 years from now and think that's pretty damn good. Like, there's some movies you watch that of yours and you're like, oh, thank God I'll never make that again. If I ever make another Estas Manos in my life, I'm gonna be a happy person. I'll just say that much. That brings us to our next movie that came out in October, and that was A Bond Made in Blood. This, I remember, this project was called, or just dubbed, Inspiration Project. Essentially, our professors wanted us to make a movie inspired by an art painting, or like inspired by a piece of media, a classic media. It kind of had to like resemble the media a little bit, but obviously, you know, spin your own thing and stuff. And I kind of thought of The Godfather because I was thinking about the lighting of The Godfather, that orange lighting, the gangster themes. I was just thinking, you know, those execution scenes in Goodfellas, The Godfathers, they're so like bloody and violent, and it's often at the hands of a henchman killing someone right in front of a boss. Is he okay with that? They go through all these executions, they're so gangster, but like, what if they hate this shit? What if they hate like getting like, you know, someone shot in the face in front of their face, right? And so I thought to myself, let me make that a concept. So A Bond Made in Blood is about a gangster who takes me out and shoots me in the back of the head. The gun is directly pointed towards my friend Milo, and he's just livid. He goes on a whole rant about blood getting on his face, his suit, and honestly, I'm gonna be real, this could be one of the funniest movies I've ever made, but not even because I wrote the script. I wrote the script, I directed it. It wasn't a co-directing thing, but the way that Milo embodied, I'm watching these dailies, I'm like, this guy just embodied the character more than I could ever even ask for. I was just like really shocked to be acting across, like alongside of him. Like, I felt so out of my range. I'm like, this guy is on some other shit. Like, he had an espresso shot that day. He was fired up from shot after shot, delivered lines. And for me, it was really fun to like execute something because the color of the movie, it's not exactly The Godfather. You know, like I had that thought of like, let's go with this. Let's do this. Let's go for a whole look. It looks good. I'm gonna be real, it looks good. One of the shots I'm really proud of is a really cool slider shot of my face as I turn around and get shot in the head. I thought to myself, like, wouldn't it be cool if I were to cross the 180-degree rule, and like that crossing is supposed to discomfort the audience, and I as a character, I'm discomforted. So that's like one of the things that I learned like on set, was just kind of like knowing a rule and breaking the rule. For what effect? College was a time where there was no professors on set to kind of like guide you or control what you're doing. Everything you do on set is your choice to make. You could do kind of whatever you want. In my high school, any big production, there was a professor on set, and he was always like, He's always had some idea or some like, thought, and it felt like you couldn't do anything creative around them. Sometimes some people are just like, does that work really? And you just have to say like, I think it does. But obviously, like, if a 40-year-old man is telling you, oh, you can't really do that, then obviously you're not gonna do it. But in college, there's no one on set but you. You could do whatever you want to do, but do it right. And you're allowed to fail, but fail correctly is kind of the vibe that I always go out with. And so that film for me was a really fun display of sticking to a theme and keeping it, and then like, I don't know, just I really felt good about that movie. It's like, honestly, it's one of my family's favorite films I've ever done in my life. They will always laugh at that movie, and I can't blame them. Milo and Michael, obviously, in the movie, they're hilarious, and I think that was a great movie that I just like absolutely adored making. Now let's talk about my next film, a travesty of an unbuttered toast.
Crusty, thick, and thin. The toast was not for him.
So what inspired this project was me and Milo watching the film Magnolia. I kind of forget it now, but it was like semi-serious, semi-like, this is a classic film, you should watch it, and it's not going to be corny at all. And then in the middle of it, in the middle of the movie, shockingly, John C. Reilly is sitting in a room and just starts singing. He just starts like singing, and then like me and Milo are watching this, we're freaking dying. And he just starts singing, and then his female co-star is also singing, and it becomes a musical. And we're like, this is the funniest thing that I've ever seen. This movie is freaking legendary. It's legendary, this movie. If I could do that, I want to like suddenly make a thing that's a musical all of a sudden. So I thought about it, like me and Milo have been like sleeping over. We would have toast in the morning. It always had to have butter. If it didn't have butter, it was bad. But what if like Milo had a wife and she served him toast without butter? And then what if, like, it's always a what if thing, right? Then what if he's just upset about it and it's a big deal? Like, obviously it means more than just the toast being buttered, but like it's a big deal. It's a fault in their marriage, and the wife goes into a room and sings, and I make a musical. When thinking of that idea, I thought, yeah, that's a good idea, but I mean, crazy. I'm not a musical guy. I don't freaking make music. I make films. How am I supposed to compose something? But then Milo was like, dude, we can do it. Let's make a freaking song. So we tried workshopping some lyrics and stuff, and yeah, it was just one of the most fun things, making an original song. So that's what the film's about, essentially. It's a musical. It's also filmed around December, so I wanted to incorporate like a kind of a Christmassy vibe to it. The Christmas theme is present in that movie, and it's very like, I like Christmas movies. It's not really about Christmas, but I guess like Santa or Gorp does help. I was extremely proud of this movie. Oh my lord, I was extremely proud of this movie. And what it taught me was that when you watch movies as a filmmaker, you're always like kind of like coming into it like, I don't know about this one. I'm gonna be in the theater and I'm gonna be like, I didn't make that. I suck. What have I made? But when I watched Magnolia, I had an idea and I made my own movie about it. You can pick up anything from anything. You can watch a Western and be like, oh, that cowboy shot, it's not bad. I'm gonna use that for my musical. And it's like, it doesn't even have to relate to anything. I learned that I should watch movies. I should watch them a lot, because then I can get inspired. If I'm not inspired, like sometimes I can't just wake up one day and be like, oh, movie. Like it has to be inspired by something. For a travesty, we watched it on Zoom. My professor, for the first time, he was in the chat live watching my movie saying, Camilo, what the hell is happening? I love this. And that jarring effect of like it being a musical worked. It just worked like Magnolia. And that's exactly what I was going for. And I achieved it. Everyone in the chat was like, it's a musical, it's a musical. I went for it, man. I didn't think a movie with my own song could work, but I went for it. And Milo and Jules helped me achieve that. Thank you guys. And then also thank you, Michael, for creating the instrumental soundtracks of it as well. It's a cozy film, which I like, and it's also funny too. So thank you guys for that. And that wrapped up my first semester of college ever. Those 3 films.